Hi, everybody. This is Big City Drinks. I'm Ace. This is Alex.
Hey,
Welcome back. What do we have here, Alex?
today we are working out of the Heaven Hill brand Elijah Craig.
What are these two?
These are the toasted barrel, and these is the barrel proof actually. So we'll use these for later, but today we're going to review the small batch, which is the staple, as you would say, from the Elijah Craig brand. So
Nice.
we're going to work on this. As you can see, I've already kind of been putting in some work at home with this, but I do enjoy it.
The Elijah Craig small batch, their mission statement is expertly aged in level 3 charred oak barrels. Our award-winning small batch bourbon is known for its signature warm spice and subtle smoke flavors. Each barrel is hand selected by our master distiller. Who is the master distiller for this one? Does it show?
I don't really know who the master distiller for this is, but like I know basically from Heaven Hill, they have a couple of brands of bourbon that I really do enjoy. Elijah Craig, of course, as you can see, is one of them. They also are in charge of Larceny Bourbon, which is not that bad, and there's a couple of things there that are really good. Some of them are okay, but definitely there's a couple there that are really good. And yeah, of course, the actual Heaven Hill bottle themselves. I think there's the white label and the green label. You can get one or the other in certain places. And they also do the Evan Williams, which I think I've talked about it before. Like the bottle and bond is probably one of the best cheap bottle and bonds you can get. And like again, that's usually like one of the go-to mixers for me.
The Evan Williams bottled and bond. That's a budget bottle, right?
Oh yeah, that's definitely something that we'll do. I think we'll probably do a future video for it, just because I talk about it every now and again.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we'll try to do something like budget stuff for it, because that, like I said, 4-year age stated, under $20. In certain places, under $20. If you're paying for more than that, you pretty much live in a really bad state. But it should be. It's relatively good. Elijah Craig itself is not also that. The small batch itself is not that expensive in the. It's kind of in the budget itself. It's within 25 bucks. Shouldn't be that more. It shouldn't be more than that. Unless you get like a big one. Bigger one would probably be like 25, 30. So Elijah Craig is also a go-to on this small batch. This one, the barrel proof, is a little bit of a harder to find, but not that hard to find. The one that you're probably gonna be uh, paying more out of it is probably the toasted. But there's a couple of different toasted barrels, and we could probably get onto that whole other conversation for that at another time, because um, anything like toasted on a lot of brands is like hard to find. People are looking for it, and you always have different things you can find. Definitely, uh, Elijah Craig toasted will definitely do something for it later.
I remember a while back I didn't know my bourbons that much as I've been learning about it now. And Elijah Craig small batch was one of them. Or I think it was the Elijah Craig, just the basic one.
Yeah, I think it was the small batch.
Was it the small batch?
I think it was a small batch. It was a while ago, a long time ago, because I remember. I think it might have been before this label became what this label is. Because before, I think they had just like a regular sticker label. Now you have, it's a little more of an engraved top, things like that. So before, I think it was a sticker one. So I think that's around the time when we saw it.
I remember also it's becoming more famous. Obviously, with this toasted version of it, the barrel proof version of it, there's a couple more. If I'm not mistaken. There is there.
Well, yeah, I believe there's a couple more. The only you also got the rise, I believe.
Gotcha.
There's also, I believe there's also a toasted rye. No, I think that might be Makers. But this is normally, that's one of the things, Makers, Mitchers, however you want to pronounce it. There's different counts from that.
Yeah.
But this is usually like the replacement for that one. Like everybody kind of talks about that, because the toasted Makers is harder to find
and more
and
expensive.
more expensive,
Yeah.
which especially in the secondary market, unless you live in one of those states where everything is just how it is.
Yeah.
And probably those are probably going to be lottery. Like this will be like the less expensive one to get, and probably a little bit more available. In certain places, you're still going to overpay for this from MSRP,
But I'm at least glad we got the small batch, and we're gonna definitely let's taste this. Let's see how this does. We're gonna smell it first. All right, so we're gonna go with the smell. Let me get that cork.
Well, yeah, you corks over here.
Cork is real cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's a nice standard cork, at least for them. Like their entire thing with the Elijah Craig, it's a nice little, has a nice little top here. It's like a nice pour.
Oh, thank you.
Here you go. Yeah, it's a nice like little bottle that they have. It's pretty well put together.
I think maybe on the later segment we could talk about
bottle designs.
Bottle designs. There's something about these bottle designs. I gotta tell you, it's pretty cool. The Japanese whiskeys as well.
Everybody has like their own little
the
gimmick.
Hibiki one. It's
I
beautiful.
Think we did it when we did the skull over
Oh, and
here.
obviously the ET51. That is an incredible design.
Yeah, like I think we'll definitely try to talk about some of the funner labels, like the funner bottle labels, designs, the different things like that. But let's just kind of keep going with the.
How do you got in the smell?
I gotta swirl it around a little bit more, but I'm getting some.
You got
oak.
caramel?
I'm getting oak and vanilla like you wouldn't believe right now, actually. Yeah, lots of oak.
I got oak.
Lots of oak. But then again, this has kind of been open for a while.
Yeah.
Because I've been sipping on it for a while.
Vanilla? You get more vanilla? I get more caramel than vanilla.
I don't get caramel. I get a good mixture of oak and vanilla, for sure. It starts off a real like oaky, and then like halfway it just switches into this nice vanilla. Definitely no caramel though, for sure.
A sweet smell as well.
That I believe is the vanilla. It's really like that's one of the things why I like the small batch, because it's just pretty standard in that sense. It's oak, vanilla. It's not gonna wow you. It's not like it doesn't have this gigantic, array of different smells, tastes, fruits, stuff like that. Like that normally will throw you off, but you get a good. No, it smells a little nutty, but not really. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's a little like it's probably something with the vanilla and the oak that makes like maybe a little nut, but not really. Definitely oak and vanilla for sure, though. Cheers on this one.
Cheers, my friend. Let's give it a shot. For me, this one's spicy. Oaky. Vanilla, I'm not getting.
Oh no, I see. This is the thing with this one. It's a very standard bourbon. Like this is like a standard of bourbon whiskey, and I guess that's probably why one of the things it's like it says the father of bourbon, Elijah Craig, who is named after. It's pretty much a standard bourbon. Like it has the oak. It's not overpowering.
No.
It's got vanilla, and that's not overpowering. It's a nice little blend. It doesn't destroy your throat. It doesn't destroy your mouth as it's going down.
Yeah.
It's a pretty smooth.
It does go down warm. It's not complex.
It's not.
And then we're looking for complexity. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're looking for different.
If you're used to drinking a lot of different bourbons, you're normally like, oh, I can smell XYZ fruit. I can smell chocolate, caramel, rye. You can smell a whole bunch of different things. This is just basic oak, vanilla, and it just gives you that nice little warm hug that bourbon gives you.
Yeah.
And it's not destroying you
No,
like
no, it's
higher
not.
proofs. Yeah, at 94 proof.
This is 94 proof, right?
Yeah, this is exactly 94 proof. At 94 proof, it's pretty right on the mark. You have Old Forester 90, which is normally, and I believe the Buffalo Trace is also 90.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of like relatively standards. At 94, just a little bit more, but it doesn't. It's not like it's. This is a all day chilling, just kind of sitting there hanging around type of bourbon that you'd pour at a party. You can mix anything. Again, it's not that expensive. You can just mix. You make old fashions with it, especially with like an old fashioned when you're trying to, or like any other type of whiskey or bourbon drink that you're trying to mix. That you're adding a lot of different things to it because it's such a basic profile on the bourbon. It'll probably just make everything a little bit just. You'll get the other flavors that you're adding into the mixture.
An old fashioned. Oof, that will sound amazing because it has a kick. It's not it's not overpowering either, but it has a little bit of a kick here and there. It's warm coming in. How is it your aftertaste on this? Your finish?
It's just.
I'm getting more cinnamon.
Yeah, it's a small like faint. Like I'm getting a faint like taste of it. Not as much. Like just a little bit. I guess the probably would be like, oh, it's a little bit of the spice of it. But overall, it still has that nice oakiness. But it's not like it's still relatively young bourbon, so it's not like when you drink the higher like anything like 8, 10 stuff like that where you get like a really hard hit of oak.
Yeah,
it's just a small hint.
And this one's 4, right? 4 years.
This one should be between
4 to 5, maybe.
No, it's definitely between 2 to 3.
Oh,
2 to 3, maybe 4. I don't think that they normally do anything past that, but I could be wrong. For the most part, anything like that, like things that are usually like 4 and things like that will be saved for bottled in bond, because that that kind of gives you a little bit more, like especially when you do things like that where it's bottled in bond, you have a specific age statement where the minimum is 4, and then you start aging stuff, and eventually you'll get to, I believe the highest one on the line is the Elijah Craig 18.
Ooh.
Which
that one, I'm sorry, sir.
That one's a pretty penny if you can find it on certain places.
We're not there yet. We'll get there.
It's a pretty penny, but it's that's I believe that probably might be under the Elijah Craig name, that might be their bigger their most aged bourbon on the Elijah Craig line.
I'll tell you this, guys, for those who have been watching us, we gave ourselves a bigger task when buying bourbon, going bourbon hunting, that we have to buy 2. One for you, one for me. We don't really share. I don't share. I will share my bottle with you, obviously, but you have yours and you have yours with that you normally wouldn't share with me. This is why it's usually harder. When you said the Elijah Craig 18, I don't know how we're going to be able to get 2 of those here.
Yeah, no, we'll probably do that. But there's a couple of things we do buy together.
Of course.
That's pretty fun. And I'm pretty sure we're going to do a couple of those in the future, especially on a couple of, like, our future projects. I know we definitely have a 12-year in the future of something special. So
fantastic. All right. Your overall thoughts on the Elijah Craig small batch, Alex?
Overall thoughts for this, definitely this is a good bourbon staple. If you want to be a beginner into bourbon, this is definitely one of the ones you definitely want to get.
Is this straight beginner? Because I will always recommend the Old Forester 86 on the beginning. Straight, like if you have never bought a bourbon ever, go for the Old Forester 86. Move on up if you want to, but this is one of those that I would also recommend once you start getting to know bourbon a little bit more, the Elijah Craig small batch is just easy, budget. And I don't think it's that expensive. Under what, $30?
No, should be in the 20,
Oh, really?
2025.
2025. I think it's not gonna hurt anybody's pockets, and the complexity of we were just talking about it. It's not that diverse.
That's why
basic.
I think because of its of how it's not that complex. I think it's a really good way to start bourbon. Like sometimes you get a little bit of bourbon on, like the Old Forester 86. I like, but I sometimes feel it's a little too young, and you taste that young bourbon.
You do.
This one you don't taste it as much. Well, this bottle in particular has been over for a while because, as you can see, I have put some work in it.
Yeah.
But again, if you're just trying to get in, and if this is gonna sit in a while, and then you eventually, little by little, it doesn't taste as young. It doesn't have that young whiskey, that young bourbon taste. So it's definitely a good bourbon if you're trying to get into bourbon and you're like, oh man, I can't. I don't really like tasting young whiskey or young bourbon. This one, it still has that little bit of, but it's good. It's a good starter.
Yeah. I will bring this to a party.
Yeah, this is
a gathering. I would just bring this. No questions asked.
Like party wise, these are the bottles that you bring. Is this Old Forester, Buffalo Trace? Those are like the places. Buffalo Traces are harder to find. These two, between this and the Old Forester, you can pretty much find almost anywhere. So this is definitely a go-to beginner, just to have around. Sometimes you don't even want to be home, and you're like, oh, I might need something, but you don't want something that's going to give you a kick, that's going to give you something to sit and relax while you're watching something. I think Elijah Craig it's where it's at for that.
All right. So this is our review on the Elijah Craig small batch. Also, I wanted to thank everyone on Instagram. Thank you very much. We've been getting a lot of followers and a lot of comments in return for all our posts, and thank you so much. Always remember, we're always going to be on Instagram,
Big City Drinks 1,
and Twitter,
Big City Drinks,
and YouTube,
Big City Drinks.
And definitely don't forget to comment. We are listening. We're more than welcome to give you advice of the little that we have to give. Yeah. But obviously, we're there. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah. This is Alex. I'm Ace, and this is Big City Drinks.
Have a good one.
Take care.